Hey, Shalom, I want to start off souls by giving no praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, that belongs to the apostles of Great Millstone, and honors you brothers that walk the most on truth and in sincerity. Yahweh, that's the raw name of whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah Yahweh. His raw name is Yahweh, and his son's raw name is Yahweh Shai. And when we pray Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning the, Sham meaning name, right? Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. This is a quick one. Some of the things that's been happening in the UK. Because at first it started with you got a Nando's. Probably have it over in the States. I don't know if you do, but Nando's, which basically like a peri peri chicken place. And then you basically they ran out of chicken, had to close like 40 of their stores. And then you had what was this? You had McDonald's, right? And they weren't able to get any milkshakes into any of their stores in the whole of the UK. No milkshakes at McDonald's, right? And it says Britain has faced, is from New York Times, Britain has faced a shortage of chicken, milkshake and candy over the summer because of a lack of truck drivers. But the problem goes far beyond food. Nearly every industry is facing delivery problems, right? Different people put it on different things. Part of that is the Brexit situation. Part of that is the vid situation. You've had apparently, because at the end of the day, you can't trust anything that he sort of puts out. But apparently, you've had say 35,000 driver tests that have not happened. So HGV drivers, you've had people retire, and you've had several thousand EU truck drivers, basically European citizen truck drivers, basically leaving and going back to Europe, where it's a more healthy working environment, and basically the net impact of that is you used to have 600,000 truck drivers from the official numbers. Right now, from the official numbers, that estimate is more like 500,000 truck drivers, right? So then once again you look at that on a broader scale, that this is basically I believe that's 16% less truck drivers than you had before. And that's just one industry, and look how much chaos it has caused. From times stores having to close, and that means, because if that was a smaller store like Nando's, if that was smaller, then 40, having to close 40. I think they had maybe 250 stores all in all. So imagine having to close like a 20% of your stores. Right, that's insane, having to do that. I believe it's 250. Don't quote me on that, but that's still a lot of people that you either aren't getting paid or you're having to pay them without making any money, right? So, hey, and that's just one industry. Now you got all of these mandates coming in throughout the world, whatever, what have you, saying you can't do X, Y, Z without it. Okay, cool, but you have segments of the population that will not get it, no matter what. Okay, now imagine removing. This is exactly what will happen if you remove. This is just 16% of the truck of truck drivers, and it's caused a whole ruckus. Okay, so yeah, and this is it. So obviously the point that where we start is this thing of famines, man. Right, you can really see how easy it is for this man to just create and ferment. I don't know if that's the right word I want, but basically to create famines out of thin air, basically, right? So 2 Ezra 6:22 says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, right? And that's it, right? I'll know you will have, times are good and everything's, oh yeah, it's all lovely, it's all blessed, this, that, and the other. But out of nowhere, right, the stores can just become empty. And you saw that last March here in the UK, right, where I remember, and it was funny for me because I just come back from my home country where, that's supposed to be, as Trump would refer it, a shithole country, right? I say home, the country wherein I was born, rather, right? It's a shithole country, as Trump would call it. And hey, their stores had food. And then when I came back to Britain a couple of months later, I remember just walking down the aisles and there was no food, right? All of the fresh produce was gone, right? Meat, forget about it, right? Funnily enough, it was only the pork that was remaining, right? Only the pork remained, which that was Satan. I even remember Apostle Ricard pointing that out in the States as well. It's like, man, these guys don't eat pork, right? And that was the only thing that was remaining, and just to show you how quickly it could happen. Same thing happened in Texas when they had the big freeze, right? People weren't able to move the logistics in and out of the state. Okay, and let's just pull up some precepts on the famines, right? Right. This is an example, and stuff like this is going to be coming back, man. Second Kings 6:24-29 says, and it came to pass after this that Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his hosts and went up and besieged Samaria, and there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it, right, until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, right? It says, and the fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. Right, and as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, help, my lord, O king. And he said, if Yahweh do not help thee, whence shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor or out of the winepress? And the king said unto her, what aileth thee? And she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son, and that we may eat him today, and will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, give thy son, that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. Okay, and once again, that's coming back in a big way, man. Cannibalism is coming back because once again, Esau has basically got everyone so, so dependent on him for all of the answers. He's got him so dependent on him for all of the answers to the point where people can't fend for themselves. Right? You give people seeds. Yeah, you might even give someone a plant, right? And it will kill the plants. How much more so even being able to grow some fruit, right? You go out into the woods, people don't know, and I'm speaking for myself, don't know which particular, berries, because you have certain berries that are poisonous and certain berries that might look similar to the untrained eye that are perfectly good to eat, that are meat for food, good to eat, right? Don't know about how to hunt, how to do this, how to do that, don't know nothing. Okay, but that's why, for instance, we have faith in the Lord, right? Because we know that the Lord is going to protect us in these last days, right? This is Isaiah 65:13. It says, therefore thus saith the Lord, power, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And why are we going to be, singing for joy? Right? Because we understand what is this is all about. As Isaiah 33:6, it says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. So because we know and we understand what are happening in the times, right, we're not going to be wavering. We're not going to be like, oh, where's our next meal coming from? The Lord promised us our next meal, right? Now, without being every day, we don't know. We don't know how the Lord's going to do it, but we have the examples, right, that was set before, right? This is Romans 4:15. It's usually 15:4, isn't it? Yeah. It says, for whatsoever things were written of Romans 15:4, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Because you have the accounts of manna, right, where it literally called manna because it was like, what is it? Well, they didn't know what it was, but hey, they knew it was good, right? They knew that they could eat it, right? And that was some spiritual food because, would you call it? I think there's the account where someone tried to, have more, try to hoard up more, right, for the next day, right, and then the next morning it was rotten because basically that was a lack of faith because the Lord said I will give you enough, right? But then certain people say, oh, I'm gonna hoard more just in case, right? Because it's the thing, but at the times that we're coming into, all our faith is gonna be tested, right? That's why we go through these things now, right? We go through these things now as a trying of our spirits, as a way for us to become prepared for the trials and tribulations that are literally around the corner, right? This is the thing. These trials and tribulations are literally around the corner, right? And we just hope that we can overcome them, right? Um, yeah, that's it. We hope that we can overcome these trials, man, right? Because time that we're coming into, man. Hey, so it's Job 5:20 says, "In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword." Right. So we're gonna be redeemed from all of this, Akim. And this is why it's good to meditate on these things, right? Because whilst we're seeing everyone else getting all worried and scared, we know that Lord's will, we gonna be protected. Well, not Lord's will. If we know that if we be of the elect, we gonna be protected, okay? Because the elect are gonna be protected, right? This is Psalm 33:18-19, right? So, behold, the eye of Yahweh is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine, right? And yeah, you got a couple or more precepts there. This is what just on the famine. Lamentations 4:9, Sirach 39:28-29, Sirach 49-10. We read 2nd Ezra 6:22, 2nd Ezra 15:19 onwards, 2nd Ezra 16 verse 18-22, Matthew 24:7, Romans 8:35, Revelation 18:8, and you have loads more also, and everything. But yeah, man, you can see how easy it is for this to start happening, right? And that's just famine. When the logistics system fails, when you ain't got truckers. I remember being on the M1, which is a major artery from the south of England to the Midlands, and it was like late at night, and literally going from London upwards to the Midlands, all you saw was because obviously I say London, but that would have been from further south, because the Docklands. So basically, you have the shipments that will come from like mainland Europe will come from France, and from France they'll go to Dover, and then Dover they'll basically come up, and then they'll join onto the M1, right? So really, that's what I mean. Right, but all you saw was truck after truck after truck after truck. So if they're not moving, then guess what, right? A lot of the things that people like, they're not coming into the country. Okay, and once again, these are all things that were very preventable, right? Things that are very preventable. So the fact that they've happened shows you that this is all a part of the plan. So yeah, just a quick one. As always, Lord's, what I was edifying. Until the next time we say Shalom.